Okay, hey everybody on YouTube. I'm doing a live stream here, and Karen's editing out all the nonsense and making 5 to 10 minute videos of me analyzing the first half of the candidates, rounds 1 through 7, all the decisive games. Of the 28 games that were played in the first half, 11 were decisive. This is the 10th game that I've looked at, so hopefully you've looked at a lot of YouTube videos now, or maybe you watched live. This is the game Wei Yi White versus Sindarov. Wei Yi floundering at like -1, -2. Sindarov winning all of his games. Truth hurts. Okay, so they played double king pawn. Played sort of a boring line. Black gets the 2 bishops. White has the what else. Not too exciting. Sort of locked up center. Black has 2 bishops. Lots of pawns in the center. And white has the Marazzi bind pawn structure, stopping black from moving their pawns. Well, this bishop is pretty nice on c5. Okay, so the engine obviously says it's equal. The engine says everything's equal. Okay, rook g8. Nice open file for the rook. Castles. The engine says the best move is king e7. Rawr. I'm serious. Played a4, stopping white from moving their queenside majority, or so he thought. b4. Takes the pawn. Now in this position, black has several moves he can play. And I was watching the game live with analysis by Svidler and the German guy. I think his name is the German guy. This is what's good about doing a live stream, is somebody in the chat's going to tell me his name. Gustafsson, Jan Gustafsson. Okay, no, Lako's not German. You're banned, PW Siegel. Lako's Hungarian. Yeah, Jan Gustafsson, and they were analyzing taking on a3 for like 20 minutes. And they say he doesn't have to take on a3, but he probably should. And the engine does play rook takes a3. He played a move they didn't look at all. Rook, bishop g4, confusing the audience. And this is why I like engines, because engines often suggest moves that humans don't think of. The top 2 engine moves are king h1, which gets the king off of the file of the rook, or knight e1, which stops black from taking the knight. Okay, so bishop g4 wasn't looked at by Svidler or Gustafsson. Engine says it's okay. Played b4. Bishop takes f3, a pawn sacrifice. He's going to give this pawn away so his bishop can be on d4, because that's a good bishop. You can't let him take on g2. He takes. Bishop d4. Bishop takes f6. The engine actually doesn't like bishop takes f6 and says that black is slightly better now. Even though white's a pawn up, black has this beautiful bishop, nice open a file, etc. Engine says it's a draw, but the engine would prefer to have black. Queen e6, threatening the c. So white has all these weak pawns, and black has perfect everything. Black's king is perfectly safe. Black's bishop on d4 is great. Black's queen on e6 is putting pressure on c4 and f6. The rook on a8 is pressuring a3. So engine says it's equal, but easier to play black. Here, the engine puts it in h4. Always play h4. Okay, he played h3. Queen takes c4. Now the engine sacrifices the exchange. Rook takes d4, and somehow that's equal. I don't know how that's equal. But he played rook d3, and now it says black is slightly better. It still sacks the exchange. That's how good this bishop is. The engine hates it. It says get rid of it. Rook g6, king d8, and material is equal, because Sindarov won that pawn on c4. But obviously, black's bishop on d4 is way better than white's bishop on h4. So black is better. And f4 seems desperate. Finally, white wants to get rid of that bishop on d4. But white losing all his pawns. Man, the truth hurts. Okay, and the engine doesn't like what Sindarov did. In this position, it says Sindarov should play bishop e5. After rook e8, bishop f2, the game should be a draw now. Okay, and rook takes d6 is double question mark. That's just a tactical blunder. According to the engine, b takes c5 is a draw. Then if d takes c5, rook f3, and black's pawns are too weak. Black doesn't have enough oomph to win. All of black's pawns are weak, and the engine says black has almost no advantage. But Wei Yi blundered. He played rook d6. Now black's winning. Takes, queen e3, and the commentators thought that he missed queen e3. Because if you take my queen, then I'm going to promote my pawns. I got 700 passed pawns. And my queen is defending, attacking, f3, take the queen. And now it says white's just lost. It says +4 for black. So basically, Wei Yi was outplayed that game, then blundered with rook takes d6 in time trouble, and ended up losing the game. Queen f3, c4. No, that pawn's too strong. And this is just white not resigning. Always play f3, stopping queen h6 check, and stopping queen c5 check, and threatening c2 and takes. And in this position, white resigned. The engine says it's +8. If you take, I play c2. If you go here, I play here. Now I can pre-move. I can't really pre-move because you might play rook takes c2. But I can almost pre-move rook here, rook here. So this is just lost. So after f3, take, then Wei Yi resigned. Sindarov wins again. Puts a lot of pressure on his opponent with black. Plays really interesting. Didn't get an advantage out of the opening. Wei Yi in bad form. Got outplayed. Was fighting for a draw with white. Then in time trouble blundered.